The $500 tip never reached her hands. Whitney Jordan watched the man at table 12 leave cash on the table, more money than she'd make all week. Before she could touch it, her manager appeared. Took $450, left her with $50. Welcome to the Sterling Club, where Manhattan's billionaires dined and the staff learned to stay quiet. Whitney stayed quiet for 4 months, worked 60-hour weeks, got paid for 40, kept her eyes down. Follow the rules. She needed this job. Student loans don't pay themselves. Then one night, table 12 came back, and this time, something was different. The man looked at her. Really looked. His face changed. He said her name. Turns out they knew each other. Turns out he'd been looking for her for years. And turns out that manager is stealing tips. She'd been stealing a lot more than money. Ever wondered what happens when the powerless find power? Keep listening. 5:45 a.m. The alarm cuts through Whitney Jordan's studio apartment in Astoria, Queens. She doesn't snooze. Can't afford to. The radiator clanks in the corner. December cold seeps through the old windows. She showers fast. Hot water costs money. Dresses in all black. Pulls her hair into a tight bun. No jewelry. No makeup beyond the basics. The Sterling Club has standards. Her phone lights up on the counter. Student loan payment due in 3 days. $830. She checks her bank balance. $1,240 total. Rent is $1,400. The math doesn't work, but it never does. Breakfast is instant oatmeal and black coffee. She eats standing up, reviewing her mental checklist. Wine pairings for tonight's menu. Member preferences. Table assignments. Diane Rutherford's mood indicators. The tilt of her head. The click of her heels. The tightness in her smile. 6:30 a.m. Whitney boards the N train. The car is half empty. Construction workers heading to job sites. Nurses finishing night shifts. She sits by the window and doesn't think about Columbia University. Doesn't think about her architecture degree, magna cum laude, thesis on affordable housing that won awards. Doesn't think about the life she was supposed to have. She thinks about tips, about making rent, about surviving one more day. The train stops at Lexington and 63rd. She walks 8 blocks through the Upper East Side. Dog walkers. Doormen hosing down sidewalks. A different world waking up. The Sterling Club sits on a quiet street, its facade modest by design. No sign. Members know where it is. Staff enter through an alley behind the building, through an unmarked door that requires a key card. The locker room smells like industrial cleaner and old metal. Fluorescent lights buzz overhead. Whitney changes into her server vest. Black, fitted, Sterling Club crest embroidered in silver thread. She opens her locker. At the bottom, hidden under her street clothes, sits her Columbia University ID card. Class of 2013. She looks at it for 3 seconds. Closes the locker. In the mirror, she checks herself. Invisible, professional, compliant. The staff bulletin board is covered in notices, shift schedules, health code reminders, and pinned at the top, laminated and impossible to miss. Sterling Club Employee Handbook, Section 3, Member Interaction Protocol. Rule number 3, no direct eye contact with members unless addressed. Rule 17, no personal conversations in member presence. Rule 29, gratuities over $200 must be reported to management for equitable distribution. Rule 35, staff may not use member restrooms or entrances. Rule 41, smile is mandatory. Personality is not. Whitney has these memorized. Everyone does. 7:15 a.m. Heels click on tile. Diane Rutherford enters the locker room. Operations director, 48 years old. Navy suit, perfect posture, eyes that catalog everything. Every Tuesday, Diane personally counts the wine cellar. Alone. No staff allowed. She scans the lineup of servers, stops at Whitney. Miss Jordan? Posture? Whitney straightens her spine. Diane circles her slowly, adjusts Whitney's collar with 2 fingers. The touch is clinical, condescending. Better. Table assignments are posted. You have 12 through 18 today. Diane's heels click toward the door. She pauses. Also, Miss Jordan, your loan payment. Pinnacle Education Finance. I saw the notice in your locker yesterday when I did inspections. $87,000. That's quite a burden for someone in your position. Whitney's jaw tightens. Her locker was closed. Locked. Diane smiles. Make good choices today. The door closes. The staff exhales collectively. Whitney ties her apron. Her hands are steady. They're always steady now. Across her knuckles, barely visible, runs a thin scar, a decade old. From an ex-acto knife slip in a Columbia architecture studio at 3 a.m. 4 stitches. A friend drove her to the ER. She pushes the memory away. Doors open in 15 minutes. Table 12 is on her section tonight. She doesn't know it yet, but that table is about to change everything. 8 p.m. Dinner service is in full swing. The dining room glows under crystal chandeliers. Conversations hum at a careful volume, deals being made, fortunes discussed over $30 appetizers. Whitney moves through her section with practiced efficiency. Table 14, a hedge fund manager. Table 16, a retired surgeon and his wife, 15% tippers. Diane Rutherford circles the room. Watching. Always watching. 8:40 p.m. The host leads a man to table 12. William Crawford, 42, Navy suit, absorbed in a phone call about quarterly projections. He sits without looking around. This is a habit. Table 12 has been his table for 8 years, every other Friday. Whitney approaches. Good evening, sir. May I start you with sparkling or still water? Eyes down, voice neutral. Still. Thank you. He doesn't look up, still on the phone. Whitney pours. Her hand trembles slightly. The water ripples. She steadies herself, sets the glass down. Would you like to hear tonight's specials? William waves his hand. Not yet. Whitney retreats. She served him before, 3, maybe 4 times. He never looks at servers. Most members don't. 9 p.m. William orders. Duck breast, winter vegetables, house burgundy. His voice is polite in the way wealthy people are polite to staff, courteous but distant. Excellent choice, sir. Throughout the meal, she's furniture. Appears when needed. Vanishes when not. William barely registers her presence. 9:38 p.m. He finishes. Signs the check on his American Express. Then reaches into his wallet. Pulls out cash. 5 $100 bills. Places them under his water glass, old school tip method. Old school. He stands. Buttons his jacket. Walks out. Whitney approaches table 12. Begins clearing. Sees the cash. $500. That's rent. That's her loan payment with money left over. A hand covers hers. Diane stands beside her. I'll handle that, Miss Jordan. Whitney looks up. It was left for me, ma'am. Rule 29. Gratuities over $200 are managed by operations to ensure equitable distribution among all staff. Whitney's jaw tightens. This isn't an equitable distribution. This is theft. But there are NDAs, blacklist threats, survival. Diane counts the cash slowly. 500. She folds 4 bills, slips them into her jacket pocket, peels off a 50, places it in Whitney's palm. Your share. Other servers watch from across the room. Look away. This is normal. Whitney pockets the 50, returns to her station. Her hands ball into fists when she thinks no one is looking. But the hallway camera, number 7, catches it. Timestamp 9:41 p.m., December 8th, 2024. In the kitchen, Luis passes her. Whispers without stopping. Same thing happened to me. Whitney finishes her shift at 11 p.m. Official tips, $83. Should have been $533. She takes the N train home, counts her money on the subway. $162 total tonight. Loan payment due in 2 days. She's short. Her apartment is cold. She doesn't turn up the heat. Sits on her couch in uniform. Stares at the student loan notice. $87,000. It was $52,000 5 years ago. She's been paying. The balance keeps growing. She goes to bed at midnight. Doesn't eat dinner. Table 12 will return in 7 days. The man who left $500 doesn't know her name. Doesn't know she got 50. Not yet. 3 days later, lunch service. December cold presses against the windows, but inside the Sterling Club it's warm. Too warm. Whitney's section. Tables 12 through 18. Routine. Table 15. Mrs. Victoria Ashford, 58. Socialite. Sterling member for 12 years. Known among staff as difficult. Sends back food. Complains about temperature. Scrutinizes everything. Whitney approaches with the appetizer. Seared scallops, butternut squash puree, microgreens. Your scallops, Mrs. Ashford. She sets the plate down carefully. Mrs. Ashford is already frowning. Is this winter preparation or summer? Whitney responds reflexively. Winter, ma'am, with butternut squash puree and sage brown butter. She makes eye contact. Just for a second. Habit from her old life. Architects make eye contact when they explain things. It's automatic. Mrs. Ashford's eyes narrow. Excuse me, did I ask you to look at me? Whitney's stomach drops, eyes down immediately. No, ma'am, I apologize. Where is your manager? Mrs. Ashford signals the host. Diane arrives within 60 seconds, always watching, always close. Mrs. Ashford, how may I help you? Your server made direct eye contact with me, very aggressive, very uncomfortable. Diane's face shifts, apologetic to the member, ice cold underneath. I am so sorry, Mrs. Ashford, this is unacceptable. She turns to Whitney. Her voice drops. Miss Jordan, back hallway, now. The dining room notices. Conversations pause briefly. Forks stop mid-air. Whitney walks, face burning. The back hallway connects the kitchen to the dining room. Staff traffic area. Not private. Diane knows this. She positions Whitney against the wall. Her voice projects, loud enough for kitchen staff to hear through the swinging doors. Rule number 3, Miss Jordan. Do I need to review the entire manual with you? Whitney keeps her eyes down. No, ma'am, I apologize. It was reflex. Reflexes are trained. You've been here 4 months. That's sufficient time. Yes, ma'am. Members pay for an experience. Part of that experience is not being gawked at by staff. Do you understand how uncomfortable you made Mrs. Ashford feel? Yes, ma'am. The kitchen door swings open. Luis Herrera, line cook Marco, prep cook Sarah. They freeze. Witness this. Diane notices them. Doesn't care. This is the point. Public lesson. You will return to Mrs. Ashford, you will apologize, and you will comp her meal. Understood? Whitney's hands are behind her back, hidden from Diane. They ball into fists. The hallway camera, number 7, mounted above the walk-in cooler, captures this. Timestamp, 1:47 p.m. Understood, ma'am. Go. Whitney returns to table 15. Mrs. Ashford sips her wine. A small smile plays at her lips. Satisfied. Mrs. Ashford, I sincerely apologize for my behavior. Your meal today is complimentary, courtesy of management. See that it doesn't happen again. Whitney nods, steps back. Other members at nearby tables have witnessed this. Some look uncomfortable. Most return to their meals. The invisible stay invisible. Whitney serves the rest of her shift on autopilot. 0 errors, 0 eye contact, 0 personality. Just the way the manual prescribes. 2 p.m. End of lunch service. Whitney is in the locker room untying her apron when Luis enters. He doesn't speak, just hands her a folded piece of paper. Walks out. Whitney unfolds it. His handwriting rushed. Document everything. Photos, dates, times. You're not the first. L. She stares at the note. Thinks, document for what? Who would believe me? She puts the note in her locker. Doesn't photograph anything. Fear wins. But what Whitney doesn't know, what none of the staff knows, is that the Sterling Club's security system automatically archives footage. Camera 7, Camera 5 in the dining room, Camera 3 at the host stand. 6 cameras total, all recording, all time-stamped. September 15th, 2:24, 2:14 p.m. Diane berates server James for moving too slowly. Camera 7. James was fired 3 days later, October 3rd, 7:33 p.m. Diane scolds server Maria for breathing audibly near a member. Camera 7. Maria quit a week later, never worked in hospitality again. October 22nd, 8:02 p.m. Server Anthony reprimanded for standing too close. Camera 5, dining room angle. Anthony was fired. Blacklisted. He's a line cook now at a diner in Brooklyn. November 8th, 3:19 p.m. Whitney's first incident, questioned why she requested 2 consecutive days off. Her mother had been in the hospital. Diane didn't care. Camera 7, November 30th, 4:50 p.m. Server Keisha warned about attitude after asking about overtime pay. Camera 7. Keisha quit before she could be fired. December 11th, 1:47 p.m. Whitney's eye contact violation. Camera 7. 6 incidents. 4 months. All documented. All witnessed by kitchen staff too afraid to intervene. Whitney takes the subway home. Replays the humiliation on a loop. Mrs. Ashford's smirk. Diane's voice echoing in the hallway. The other members watching. She thinks, I have a degree. I designed a community center once. It was built. People use it. Now I can't even look people in the eye. Her apartment feels smaller than usual. She sits on the floor, back against the couch. Doesn't eat. Doesn't turn on the TV. Just sits. Her phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Loan payment overdue. Late fee applied. $85. New balance. $87,085. She doesn't respond. What would she say? Somewhere across the city, William Crawford is in his office reviewing acquisition documents. He doesn't think about the Sterling Club. Doesn't think about the server who poured his wine last week. Doesn't remember leaving $500. He'll return next Friday. Table 12. Same as always. And this time, everything will be different. 1 week later. Friday evening, December 15th, 7 p.m. Whitney's shift begins. Table 12 is reserved. Name, Crawford. She doesn't connect it. Just another member. 7:20 p.m. William Crawford enters. Same navy suit. But tonight he's quieter. No phone call. He sits at table 12, looks around briefly, searching for something. Whitney approaches. Good evening, sir. Sparkling or still? Still, please. And the wine list. Whitney pours water, presents the wine list. William reaches for it. Their hands brush, half a second. But William freezes. His eyes drop to her hand. The scar. Thin line across her knuckles. Columbia. Senior year. Architecture studio, 3 a.m. Whitney cutting basswood with an X-Acto knife. Slip. Blood. He drove her to the ER. 4 stitches. William looks up, studies her face. Whitney? Her eyes widen. She breaks rule number 3, looks directly at him. Will? 12 years collapse. William stands abruptly. Chair scrapes. Nearby tables glance over. Whitney Jordan, what are you doing here? I work here. Some. He looks at her uniform. Reality lands. You're a server? Not condescension. Shock. She was supposed to be designing buildings. It's a long story. Diane Rutherford appears, heels clicking fast. Mr. Crawford, is there a problem? Miss Jordan, please return to... William cuts her off. She's fine. We're fine. Diane's smile locks. I apologize for any disturbance. Miss Jordan, attend to your other tables. William turns to Diane, voice calm, steel underneath. She's not disturbing anything. Whitney and I went to Columbia together. She's an architect. Present tense, deliberate. The dining room goes quiet. Conversations stop. Diane forces a smile. How lovely. But we do have protocols, Mr. Crawford. Protocols, right. The ones where staff can't make eye contact? Diane's smile tightens. Our members value discretion. She's not looking at a member. William's voice carries. She's looking at her friend. Silence. Forks rest on plates, every eye on table 12. William looks at Whitney. Your break. When? Whitney is stunned. 9:30. I'll wait. We need to talk. Diane's face drains. She's lost control of the room. A member just publicly defended a server, acknowledged her as equal. Of course, Mr. Crawford. Miss Jordan, 9:30 as scheduled. Diane turns, walks away. Back rigid, heels clicking too fast. In the kitchen, Luis and Marco and Sarah exchange glances. Something shifted. Whitney stands at table 12. William sits back down. 9:30, he says quietly. Don't leave without me. Whitney nods, returns to her station. Her hands shake. Not from fear, from something else. Hope. At table 9, Dr. Elizabeth Warren watches, takes mental notes. At table 11, Thomas Wright does the same. At table 14, Patricia Samuels pulls out her phone, types a note. 3 witnesses, 3 members who will remember. At 9:30, Whitney and William walk out together. 3 blocks to a coffee shop, small, quiet. The espresso machine hisses. Winter coats hang damp on hooks. They sit in a corner booth. William orders 2 coffees. Whitney's hands shake, holding the cup. Maya, Whitney, sorry, what happened? And she tells him everything. The coffee shop smells like burnt sugar and wet wool. December rain taps the window. Whitney wraps both hands around her cup, still trembling. William leans forward. Last I heard, you were at Harrison and Partners. Whitney exhales. I burned out. 90-hour weeks. Panic attacks. I quit thinking I'd freelance. Freelance dried up. Loans ballooned. I needed money. Sterling was hiring. The tip, $500. Did you get it? Whitney's face answers. 50. William's jaw tightens. Where did the rest go? Rule 29. Anything over 200 goes to operations. Diane pockets it, everyone knows. That's theft. It's not just tips. We work 60 hours, get paid for 40, salaried loophole, NDAs on day 1. We can't talk about conditions. If you complain, you're fired. Diane has a network, 8 restaurants. You get blacklisted. She tells him about Luis, the cook who asked about overtime, fired within a week. Couldn't find work for 6 months. William listens. That's illegal. Illegal doesn't matter when no one believes you. Sterling has 12 board members. Billionaires. Lawyers. Whitney stares at her hands. I signed an NDA. If I break it, they sue. I'm drowning in debt. How much? $87,000. Started at 52 5 years ago. William stops. That's not normal interest. I know, but I can't afford to investigate. William types on his phone. Isaac Morris, labor attorney. Used to be a Sterling member. Used to be? Expelled in 2021. He defended a server publicly. William looks up. He'll help. You're not alone anymore. Next day, Isaac Morris's office in Tribeca, third floor above a Vietnamese restaurant. Walls covered with framed victories. Martinez versus Gramercy Holdings. Chen versus Hospitality Union. Isaac is 55, silver hair, reading glasses, worn briefcase. William makes introductions. I've been waiting for someone from Sterling, Isaac says. Whitney blinks. Why? I know what Diane Rutherford is. I tried to stop her 3 years ago. They threw me out. He pulls out a legal pad. This time we build a case. Tell me everything. Dates, names, amounts. Whitney talks for 90 minutes. Isaac fills 6 pages. Wage theft, retaliation, blacklist conspiracy, possible loan fraud. This is federal. Isaac looks at William. We prepare for them to fight back. Because they will. The investigation moves fast. Isaac files subpoenas. Sterling resists. A judge orders compliance. Labor law creates NDA exceptions. Employment records arrive. 47 employees hired, 2022 to 2024. 23 terminated within 18 months. Reasons are vague. Performance issues. Policy violations. Mutual separation. Isaac cross-references dates. Every termination after Diane became operations director, March 2023. 23 people in 18 months. That's purging. Isaac's paralegal calls former staff. James, 26. Diane screamed at me for walking too fast. Fired me the next day. Maria, 34. I asked for my full tips. She called me entitled. Gone within a week. Anthony, 29. I reported wage theft to HR. HR is Diane's friend. Blacklisted. I'm at a diner now. Keisha, 31. She made me cry in front of members, wrote me up for emotional instability. 11 willing to talk. Patterns identical. 2 refuse. I have kids. A whistleblower emerges. Jane Holloway, 31. Sterling's HR coordinator. Conscience breaking. She contacts Isaac anonymously. Encrypted files. 23 exit interview forms. Digital, time-stamped. Official. Isaac reviews them. Whitney and William watch. 19 out of 23 cite the same things. Dignity violations. Hostile environment. Management abuse. Quotes that turn Whitney's stomach. I felt invisible. Worse, like something shameful. Diane said I should be grateful. I have 2 degrees. Members treated us better than management. Jane's note. I can't do this anymore. Someone has to stop her. More evidence. Jane sends screenshots. Text thread between Diane and GMs of 8 restaurants. Group chat. Staffing coordination. March 15th. Diane. Server Anthony Chen filed a complaint. Do not hire. April 3rd. Daniel GM. Noted. We have a database. May 20th. Diane. Maria Gonzalez. Fired. Insubordination. Blacklist. June 12th. 11. Madison Park. Received. August 8th. Diane. James Park asked about wage law. Fired. Flag him. 14 names. 8 months. Conspiracy. Isaac studies them. This isn't just Sterling. This is a cartel. Federal territory. Isaac hires a forensic accountant. 1 week. Results are damning. Sterling classifies servers as salaried hospitality associates. 42,000 yearly. But POS tracks actual hours. Average, 58 hours weekly. Salary covers 40. No overtime. Loophole abuse. Gap, 18 hours weekly. 52 weeks, $18 overtime rate. 16,800 per person yearly, times 47 staff, 2 years. $1.58 million, plus tip reclassification. Service charges kept versus gratuities given. Diane controls it. Additional theft, $220,000. Total, $1.8 million stolen from 94 employees over 5 years. Isaac asks the critical question. Whitney, who holds your loan? Pinnacle Education Finance, refinanced 3 years ago. Isaac opens his laptop. Corporate search. Pinnacle Education Finance, LLC. Parent, Aldridge Holdings, LLC. Principal, Richard J. Aldridge. He turns the screen. Richard Aldridge is on Sterling's board. Whitney goes white. What? Board roster. 12 members. Aldridge listed. Private equity. Education finance. Your loan, 52 to 87 in 5 years. Not market rate. He pulls documents. Interest, 8.9%. Disclosed, 5.2. Hidden fees, 680 yearly. He trapped me? Possibly. We need more proof. But the connection exists. William speaks. They engineered your desperation. Late night. Isaac's office. Walls covered with printouts. Red string mapping. Isaac stands back. Wage theft. Blacklist. Loan fraud. Civil rights violations. This is federal. Whitney's voice is small. Can we win? We try. But they'll fight. Diane has resources. The board has power. William's phone buzzes. His assistant, Aldridge called, wants to meet. William shows Isaac. It's starting. They know we're digging. Whitney thinks about Diane. The hallway. Mrs. Ashford's smirk. $50 instead of $500. Let them fight. I'm done being quiet. Outside, rain turns to sleet. City sounds muffled. Inside, receipts keep stacking. The case keeps building. Within 48 hours, Sterling's lawyers will strike, and Diane will come for Whitney personally. 2 days after Isaac files preliminary paperwork, a letter arrives at his office. 8 pages. Sterling and Howe, LLP. White Shoe Manhattan Firm. Allegations. Defamation. Tortious interference. Breach of NDA. Demands. Cease all contact with Sterling employees. Retract claims. Pay $250,000. Deadline, 72 hours. Isaac reads it to Whitney over the phone. Standard intimidation. They're panicking. Whitney hears the number. 250,000. She has 1,200 in her bank account. What if they sue? They won't. This is theater. But they're going to escalate. Be ready. That night, 9 p.m., Whitney's apartment. She's alone, exhausted. Hasn't eaten since breakfast. A knock on the door. She checks the peephole. Her stomach drops. Diane Rutherford. Long coat. Heels. Cold December wind is visible behind her. Whitney opens the door. Chain still on. Ms. Rutherford? May I come in? We need to talk. Whitney hesitates. Opens the door fully. Diane enters. Scans the apartment. Small. Sparse. Student loan notices visible on the counter. Cozy. Diane sits on the couch uninvited. Pulls a document from her bag. Printed sheet listing 8 restaurants. Daniel. 11 Madison Park. Per se. Le Bernardin. Gramercy Tavern. Blue Hill. Momofuku Ko. Cosme. She lays it on the coffee table. These establishments and I coordinate staffing. We share information about problematic employees. If you continue with this lawsuit, your name gets added. Permanently. You'll never work above a diner again. She pauses. And your student loan? I heard it's been sold. New servicer, new terms coming. Whitney's hands ball into fists behind her back. Diane stands, walks to the door, turns. Your billionaire friend? Members protect members. He won't risk his reputation for a server. Make good choices. The door closes. Whitney stands frozen. Then she notices the printed list, still on her coffee table. Diane left it behind. Header visible. Staffing coordination. Flagged individuals. Updated 12/2024. Email addresses at the bottom. 8 restaurant GMs. Whitney photographs it. Sends it to Isaac immediately. Next morning, an envelope arrives. Pinnacle Education Finance. Notice of terms modification. Effective immediately. Monthly payment was $830. Now $1,830. Reason. Account review. Risk adjustment. No appeal process. Effective in 14 days. Whitney calculates. Rent $1,400. Loan $1,830. Total $3,230 monthly. Her sterling income, $2,800. The math doesn't work. She calls Isaac, voice shaking. I can't do this. I'll lose my apartment. They're retaliating. This proves our case. I don't care about the case. I care about surviving. Isaac's voice is gentle. If you quit now, they win. And they'll do this to the next person. Whitney is crying. Quiet sobs. Take 24 hours. Think. We'll find a way. She hangs up. Stays home from her sterling shift. First no call, no show, ever. She lies on her couch, stares at the ceiling. When did I become so small? Evening. William calls. Whitney, I know you're scared. I am too. But I found something. I hired a private investigator, former FBI. He's been watching Sterling. What did he find? Diane's been stealing, not just tips, inventory, wine cellar, high-end bottles, Chateau Petrus, Romane Conti, truffles, Wagyu. Whitney sits up. How much? Sterling's books show $520,000 in purchases from 2021 through 2024. Current inventory value is $340,000, $180,000 missing. William continues. 47 bottles, 12 kilograms of truffles, all invoiced but not inventoried. Delivery logs show 18 shipments to external storage. Diane's authorization. Address matches a Williamsburg storage facility. Unit 283, rented to D. Rutherford Consulting, LLC. Silence. She's not untouchable, Whitney. She's a thief. And we can prove it. Whitney is quiet for a long moment. If I don't fight, I'll never forgive myself. Then let's finish this. What Whitney doesn't know, William has already contacted Pinnacle Education Finance, negotiated full payoff of her $87,000 loan. Anonymous payment. Instructions, do not inform the borrower. December 23rd. The loan is marked and paid in full. Whitney won't discover this until February. Across the river in Williamsburg, Unit 283 sits climate-controlled. Wine racks. 47 bottles matching Sterling's missing inventory. And in Lower Manhattan, Isaac Morris is drafting paperwork. Not just civil suit anymore. Criminal referral, embezzlement, wire fraud, RICO predicates. The cage is closing. Whitney's apartment. Night. The radiator clanks in the corner. Sirens wail outside on the street below. She sits on the floor, back against the couch, still in her Sterling uniform. She forgot to change. The coffee table is covered. Loan notice. Cease and desist copy Isaac sent. Empty ramen cup from 2 days ago. Her phone buzzes. Mother's number. Whitney ignores it. Voicemail notification appears. She plays it. Her mother's voice concerned. Honey, I saw on your Instagram you're working at that fancy club. Are you okay? You don't post anymore. Call me when you can. Whitney hasn't talked to her mother in 8 months. The relationship is strained. Her mother never understood the burnout. Never understood why Whitney quit Harrison and Partners. Whitney cries. Not loud. Breathless. Quiet sobs that shake her shoulders. Her mind drifts backward. Columbia, May 2013. Graduation day. Magna cum laude. Architecture degree. Her mother crying in the audience. Pride. First job offer. Harrison and Partners. $68,000 starting salary. She signed the same day. William's voice from her thesis defense echoes. You're going to design buildings that change skylines. Her thesis project. Affordable housing, modular design, sustainable materials, top honors, cut to now. She holds a wine bottle, pours for strangers. Eyes down, invisible. When did I become invisible? Was it gradual, or one specific moment? Was it the first time Diane corrected her posture, or the 100th time a member looked through her like glass? I used to design spaces. Now I'm furniture in someone else's space. Maybe Diane's right. Maybe I'm not worth the fight. 8 p.m. Knock on the door. Whitney wipes her face, checks the peephole. Luis Herrera and 6 others behind him. Former Sterling staff. She recognizes some faces. James, Maria, Keisha, Anthony, Sarah. 2 others she doesn't know. She opens the door, confused. Luis? We heard. About the lawsuit. About Diane threatening you. The others file in. Her small apartment was suddenly full. Whitney doesn't understand. How did you know where I live? Isaac reached out. We've been talking. All of us. Luis pauses. We're with you. Maria steps forward, holds a manila folder, thick. We brought something. She hands it to Whitney. Sworn affidavits, 11 of us, notarized yesterday. Whitney opens the folder. Legal documents. Affidavit of James Porter, filed with Southern District of New York, case number 1:CV-CV-10293. James speaks. We're joining the class action. All of us. Keisha adds, You're not alone in this. Yet Luis gestures to the folder. Read mine, out loud. Whitney's hands tremble. She reads Luis's affidavit. I, Luis Herrera, 34, was employed at Sterling Club from June 2022 to November 2023. On October 2023, I asked Operations Director Diane Rutherford about overtime compensation for a 68-hour work week. She called me entitled and said cooks like me are replaceable. I was terminated November 3rd, 2023. Reason listed, performance issues. Whitney's voice cracks, but she continues. I am a line cook. It's what I know, it's what I love. For 6 months after Sterling, I couldn't find work. Restaurants I applied to said they'd heard things. I don't know what they heard, but I know who told them. Diane Rutherford took my livelihood. She took my dignity, but she can't take my truth. Whitney stops reading, looks at Luis. I'm so sorry. Don't apologize. Fight. The others share brief stories. Maria, she made me apologize to a member for sneezing. Anthony, she told me I'd never work in this city again. I believed her for a year. Keisha, I have 2 kids. I couldn't risk fighting, but I can't stay silent anymore. James, if we don't stop her, who will? Sarah, you started this. Let us finish it with you. Whitney wipes her eyes, nods. Okay, I'm in. We're in. Luis hands her a card. Isaac wants to meet tomorrow. All of us. Prep for filing. I'll be there. They leave one by one. Luis last. He pauses at the door. You're stronger than you think. The door closes. Whitney is alone again. But it's different now. Not isolated, connected. She looks at the folder. 11 voices. 11 truths. Stay with me. This is where it gets good. December 28th. Isaac files with the United States District Court, Southern District of New York. Case number 1:24-CV-10-293. Foster et al. Versus Sterling Club LLC. Diane Rutherford et al. 94 plaintiffs. Current and former staff from 2019 through 2024. Claims: wage theft totaling $1.8 million, civil rights violations, conspiracy in restraint of trade, embezzlement, RICO predicates under investigation, damages sought, $5.2 million compensatory, punitive to be determined. Injunctive relief: cease blacklist operations, reinstate wrongfully terminated workers. The filing hits Pacer, public record. Media monitors pick it up within hours. December 29th, 10 a.m., Foley Square, Federal Courthouse steps. Cold morning. Wind cuts across the plaza. Isaac Morris stands at a microphone cluster. Whitney beside him. Luis. 8 other plaintiffs. Behind them, the courthouse rises in stone and glass. News vans line the street. New York Times, Post, NBC, CNN. Isaac's statement is calm, measured, authoritative. We represent 94 hospitality workers who were told to be invisible, to accept theft as normal, to endure humiliation as policy. This lawsuit isn't about one restaurant. It's about a system that protects wealth over workers. Sterling Club stole wages, blacklisted complainers. When workers spoke up, punished them financially. Today we're saying enough. Dignity isn't negotiable, and the law agrees. Reporters shout questions. Ms. Jordan, why now? Are other clubs involved? A microphone thrusts toward Whitney. She didn't plan to speak, but the question hangs. I just want to be seen. We all do. Her voice cracks. That clip will go viral by evening. December 30th. New York Times, page A1. Invisible no more, Sterling Club workers allege systemic abuse. Byline, Sarah Mitchell, investigative reporter. Key excerpts. For years, the Sterling Club has cultivated an image of old-world elegance. But according to a class action lawsuit filed this week, that elegance came at the cost of worker dignity. 94 current and former employees allege wage theft, retaliation, and a blacklist network spanning Manhattan's fine dining elite. Among the plaintiffs, Whitney Jordan, 29, a Columbia-educated architect who says she was trapped by student loan debt and a culture of fear. The article quotes 5 former workers. I felt like a ghost. Diane told me I should be grateful she hired me. I loved the work. I hated being invisible. The article mentions William Crawford's involvement. No direct quote, but notes, a current member has provided financial support to plaintiffs. Social media erupts. Hashtag Sterling Scandal trends on X within 12 hours. Sample posts flood timelines. When a $500 tip becomes $50, that's not a mistake. That's theft. I worked fine dining for 10 years. This is everywhere. Not just Sterling. Whitney Jordan designed award-winning affordable housing at Columbia. Now she's fighting for her own dignity. TikTok videos from former servers pile up. The algorithm pushes Sterling stories to 4 million views in 48 hours. Whitney's Instagram follower count jumps from 340 to 28,000 overnight. She doesn't check it. December 31st. 3 Sterling members publicly resign. Dr. Elizabeth Warren, member since 2018, issues a statement. I can no longer associate with an institution that treats human beings as furniture. 2 others submit anonymous letters to the Times op-ed section. We were complicit by silence. Servers from other restaurants contact Isaac's office. Gramercy Tavern, Le Bernardin, Blue Hill, similar stories, tip skimming, blacklist threats, salaried loopholes. Isaac tells Whitney over the phone, this is bigger than we thought, it's industry-wide. Can we win? We already are. They're panicking. January 2nd. The New York City Department of Health announces an investigation. Press release. In response to allegations of suppressed health code violations, DOH is opening case number DOH-2024-8851. Former staff reported 12 violations between 2022 and 2024. Improper food storage, pest sightings, temperature control failures. All marked cleared by Inspector Gerald Moss. Moss is now under internal review. Allegations: accepted $8,500 from a shell company linked to Diane Rutherford. Momentum builds like a wave. And 5 blocks away, in a Sterling Club emergency board meeting, 12 billionaires realize they're losing control. January 5th, 9 a.m., Isaac Morris's office. A manila envelope arrives, thick, no return address. Postmarked Manhattan, January 4th. Inside USB drive, handwritten note. They knew, a friend. Isaac plugs it in. Single PDF. Sterling Club Board of Governors, meeting minutes, November 8th, 2023. He calls Whitney and William immediately, reads aloud. Sterling Club Board of Governors, monthly meeting, November 8th, 2023, 6 p.m. Present: Chairman Whitmore, members Aldridge, Caldwell, Harrison, Zhao, Bennett, Foster, Morgan, Patterson, Reed, Sullivan, Carmichael. Item 7. Staff complaints regarding Operations Director D. Rutherford. Isaac pauses. Member Caldwell, I've been made aware of concerns. My driver's niece worked here until September. She quit. Said Diane was abusive. Used the word verbally hostile. Member Zhao, I've heard something similar. 2 former staff reached out via LinkedIn. Described a toxic environment. Chairman Whitmore, turnover has increased, yes, but fine dining is demanding. Member Aldridge, if we investigate every disgruntled employee, we'll spend all year in HR meetings. Diane runs a tight ship. Revenue is up 12% since she started. Isaac continues. Member Zhao, I move we commission an independent HR review. Member Aldridge, I move we table this pending further information. Vote on motion to investigate. 1. Member Zhao. Vote on motion to table. 11. Item 7 tabled. Silence on the call. Isaac speaks. They knew. 14 months ago. 2 members raised alarms. The board voted 11-1 to ignore it. Whitney's voice was barely audible. Aldridge blocked it. The same Aldridge who holds your loan. Isaac pauses. This isn't negligence. This is willful. William adds, conscious disregard for worker safety. That afternoon, United States Attorney's Office, Southern District of New York. Press release. Preliminary inquiry into hospitality industry employment practices. In light of recent civil litigation and evidence of coordinated blacklisting, this office is opening a preliminary inquiry under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. RICO predicates under review: conspiracy in restraint of trade, wire fraud, extortion. No charges filed. Investigation ongoing. Press conference. U.S. Attorney Danielle Brooks at the podium. When multiple businesses coordinate to punish workers for asserting rights, that's not competition. That's a conspiracy. Isaac watches the live stream, turns to Whitney. Federal recognition. This is organized crime now. Fallout is immediate. January 6th. Board member Caldwell resigns. Statement. Reputational concerns. January 7th. 4 more resigned. Harrison, Morgan, Patterson, Reed. Conflicting commitments. None apologize. January 8th. Sullivan resigns. 6 in 72 hours. Richard Aldridge hires a criminal defense attorney. White-collar specialist. Refuses media requests. Pinnacle Education Finance issues statement. We operate independently of Mr. Aldridge's other interests. Everyone knows it's a lie. Diane Rutherford lawyers up. Same firm. Attorney statement. Ms. Rutherford denies all allegations. Her inventory management was approved by Sterling's board. She looks forward to her day in court. Sterling valuation leaks. Pre-lawsuit, 42 million. Post-lawsuit, 25 million. 40% drop. Membership cancellations reach 18 in 1 week. Waitlist drops from 200 to 12. William calls Aldridge. Conversation brief. Heated. You engineered her debt, blocked the investigation, profited from her desperation. Aldridge. I run a business, William. If she couldn't manage finances... William cuts him off. I'm pulling every dollar Crawford Equity has in your funds, and I'm telling everyone why. He hangs up. Within 72 hours, 180 million withdraws from Aldridge Holdings. William's fund plus 3 others he convinces. The board tried to bury the truth. But the truth doesn't stay buried, and in 12 days, it will walk into a federal courtroom. January 12th, 10 a.m., Thurgood Marshall, United States Courthouse, Foley Square, stone steps. A security line wraps around the building. Press vans, camera crews. The gallery was packed with former staff, reporters, labor activists, curious public. Whitney, Isaac, William, Luis, 8 other plaintiffs enter together. Inside, courtroom. Diane Rutherford sits at the defense table, navy suit, stiff posture. Attorney beside her. Quinn Emanuel partner. 4 remaining Sterling board members present. Whitmore, Aldridge, Bennett, Foster. The rest resigned or were absent. Judge Marilyn Hayes enters. Federal appointee. Labor law background, 52. All rise. She sits. Be seated. Case 1:24-CV-10293. Foster et al. Versus Sterling Club. Preliminary injunction hearing. Her voice is calm. Commands the room. Isaac stands. Your Honor, plaintiffs seek preliminary injunction on 3 grounds. Immediate cessation of blacklist, reinstatement of wrongfully terminated workers, asset freeze on defendant Rutherford. Proceed. Isaac walks the court through evidence chronologically. Exhibit A, Sterling Club Employee Handbook, Section 3. He reads Rule Number 3 aloud. No direct eye contact with members unless addressed. Gallery gasps. Some members present look uncomfortable. Isaac continues. Rule 17. No personal conversations in member presence. Rule 41. Smiling is mandatory. Personality is not. Judge Hayes's eyebrow raises. Continue. Exhibit B, security footage. 6 incidents over 4 months. Isaac describes what the court watches on monitors. Gallery can't see, but his narration paints the picture. September 15th. Ms. Rutherford berates server James for moving too slowly. 2-minute tirade. Staff visible in the background, frozen. December 11th. Ms. Rutherford forces plaintiff Whitney Jordan to apologize for eye contact violation. Judge. The court has reviewed the footage. It's disturbing. Exhibit C, 23 exit interviews, 19 site dignity violations. Isaac reads a quote. I felt like I didn't exist, like I was something shameful they had to hide. Exhibit D, forensic payroll analysis. 58 hours per week on average. Paid for 40, no overtime. Estimated theft, $1.8 million. 94 workers, 5 years. Defense attorney objects. Salaried employees are exempt. Judge. Overruled. I'll hear the plaintiff's full case. Exhibit E, wine cellar inventory audit. $180,000 discrepancy. Tracked to a storage unit rented by Ms. Rutherford. Defense. My client's inventory management was authorized. Isaac. Authorized by whom? The board that knew she was abusive and did nothing? Exhibit F. Board meeting minutes, November 8th, 2023, Item 7. Isaac reads, Member Zhao moved to investigate. Vote, 1 to 11. Motion tabled. The board knew. 14 months ago, they chose revenue over workers. Gallery murmurs. Judge gavels. Order. Sterling's attorney stands. Your Honor, New York is employment at will. Plaintiffs signed NDAs. Sterling has the right to manage staff as it sees fit. Ms. Rutherford's inventory practices were approved. Any discrepancies are accounting errors. The alleged blacklist is informal industry networking, not illegal. Judge Hayes leans forward. Counsel, are you arguing NDAs shield criminal conduct? No, Your Honor, and are you arguing dignity is negotiable in employment contracts? The attorney hesitates. Judge, I'd like to hear from Ms. Jordan. Whitney stands, walks to the witness stand. Sworn in. Isaac. Ms. Jordan, why didn't you quit? Whitney's voice is quiet, steady. Because Diane told me I'd never work again, and I believed her. Because my student loan held by a Sterling board member was crushing me. Because I thought if I could just be invisible enough, I'd survive. What changed? A friend saw me, really saw me, and reminded me I was never supposed to be invisible. Her voice breaks. Gallery silent. I don't want money, Your Honor. I want other workers to know they don't have to disappear. Judge Hayes. I've seen enough. Preliminary injunction is granted. Sterling Club will immediately cease blacklist activities. Failure to comply results in contempt. All wrongfully terminated employees will be offered reinstatement or severance equivalent to 1 year's salary. Defendant Rutherford's assets are frozen pending criminal investigation. And let me be clear, NDAs do not shield employers from labor law violations. Dignity is not a perk, it's a right. Gavel. Court adjourned. Gallery erupts. Applause. Bailiff calls order. 2 FBI agents approach Diane. White-collar crime unit. Ms. Rutherford, we have questions regarding wire fraud and embezzlement. Please come with us. Diane stands, pale, escorted out the side door. Cameras flash outside. 6 weeks later, February 15th, settlement finalized. $1.8 million was distributed to 94 workers. Average, $19,148 each. Whitney's check, $24,600. She deposits half, donates the other half to Legal Aid Society. Diane Rutherford indicted. 8 counts. Embezzlement, wire fraud, tax evasion. Trial set for fall 2025. Sterling Club under new management. Board dissolved. Interim leadership includes former staff representatives. Employee handbook rewritten. Rule number 3 abolished. Staff input mandatory. 6 of 8 restaurants in the blacklist network issue public apologies. 2 hire labor compliance officers. March 1st. Mayor Adams signs the Hospitality Workers' Bill of Rights. Provisions. Mandatory tip transparency, blacklist prohibition with criminal penalty, overtime protections for salaried workers. Inspired by Whitney's case, she stands behind the mayor at the signing ceremony. Whitney receives a letter. Harrison and Partners Architecture. Chief of Staff, Sustainable Design Division, $140,000 per year. We made a mistake letting you go. We'd be honored to have you back. She accepts. She checks her Pinnacle account. Balance, 0. Paid in full, January 3rd. Anonymous benefactor. A note appears under her door. William's handwriting. You were never invisible. I just didn't know where to look. She cries. Happy tears this time. March 15th. Columbia University, Architecture Ethics course. Guest lecture. 80 students. Whitney walks in. Blazer, jeans, confident posture. She looks them in the eye, smiles. Lecture topic. Design for dignity. When the system fails, who rebuilds? She tells her story. Students listen. Q&A. A student asks, were you scared? Whitney. Terrified. But fear isn't the enemy. Silence is. She walks out after class. Spring sun through tall windows. A student holds the door, makes eye contact. Thank you, Professor Jordan. She's allowed now, but more than that, she's seen. Respect isn't earned by wealth. It's owed to humanity. And humanity finally collected. If this story moved you, share it. Someone in your life might need to hear they're not invisible. Hit like if you believe dignity isn't negotiable. Subscribe for more stories where the underdog doesn't just survive, they rewrite the rules. And if you've ever been made to feel small, you're not alone. Your story matters. Tell it.
At Black Voices Uncut, we don't polish away the pain or water down the message. We tell it like it is because the truth deserves nothing less. If today's story spoke to you, click like, join the conversation in the comments, and subscribe so you'll be here for the next Uncut Voice.